Hey friends, it's January 12th, 2025, and this is the Beautiful Future YouTube channel, and this is the first video for it. And what I wanted to do with this channel was just to simply get started. You know, uh, there's so many things that I've learned in my life, and I thought maybe it'd be time to kind of share it in a more public way. I've been walking with people for a while now as, a mentor, as a coach, as a consultant. But I felt like, hey man, why try to keep it behind a gate, but just start sharing all the things that I've learned, because I know one thing, the ideas are free, but the execution is expensive. And so I'm going to share with you the things that I've learned in my life and the things that I use today as I help organizations and people kind of navigate seasons of change. But the ideas are easy, and I'm sure I'm not original with these ideas. I read a lot, I absorb a lot of input, I have a lot of people that I learn from, and so I just synthesize and express it in my own way, with my I guess a different perspective on things. Recently someone called me a maverick, and I was like, I took a little bit of offense to that. I'm like, what? Why am I a maverick? Why am I like, called out as something different than the ordinary or the normal? But as I sat with that word for a while, it just became something where I started to embrace and say, you know what? I am different. I see the world differently. I think differently. I build things differently. And I think that's all right. And I hope that if that resonates with you, where you've worked in a workplace or you've been trying to navigate this world and you feel like it's getting hard to assimilate to the world, maybe it's because we're meant to transform the world, bring about change, make it a better world, make it a better, create a beautiful future, as we say. So why me? Why am I creating this YouTube video? It's because as I was reflecting on this year, I just realized I've been through a lot. And a lot of people will say that I probably lived many, many lifetimes. And so let me just give you a quick rundown on my life and all the kind of the chapters of my life. So I was born in Korea, and I'm a part of an immigrant family. And so being part of an immigrant family, change is a constant and is very frequent. And so I went to 3 different elementary schools in 3 different countries. I actually learned English in England, not in the United States. So I was this first grade in England, picked up the British accent, and then I moved to New York City. And so I was this little Korean kid with a British accent in New York City, Queens, Flushing, Queens. And so I went to 3 different elementary schools in 3 different countries. I went to 3 different middle schools in 3 different cities. From New York City, I moved to North Carolina and went to a couple of schools there. And then I went to 3 different high schools in 3 different states, all within my first half of my freshman year. So talk about change and adjustment and constantly on the move. And just to top it off, I actually went to 3 different colleges. So hey, I just kept the trend going. And then, it's being part of the immigrant family and trying to figure out, how we could call this place our home and where is our home. There was a lot of up and downs and a lot of struggles, a lot of just difficulties in life. But yet, we made it through, and I went to film school and came out and began to work in the creative industry. So that happened. Then, I had my up and downs with my own faith. I had this real crazy, angry rebellion against God for all the pain and suffering that my family went through. But it took a while. But around, late 20s, I had what they call a prodigal son moment, where I returned to my faith. I returned to a relationship with God, and it changed me forever. So there, then I went from the creative world and became a part of working at a church, and then eventually became one of the pastors, and worked in multiple churches, actually 2 churches, but played a role as a pastor, and then became, in a sense, a pastor of pastors, where I was coaching and training other pastors around the world. And so it's interesting how, life goes up and down. But in the midst of all that, in the last 5-6 years, my family, my wife and my kids, we also went through a lot of difficulties in change. And I thought, growing up as an immigrant child is enough, but I guess there was more. And so, my wife had an ailment and 4 different surgeries that has impacted her and impacted our family. And after the 4 surgeries, and finally when we felt like we'd get some air, then COVID hit, and then my father was one of the early victims of COVID. And so watching him suffer and watching him go through what he went through before all the vaccine, all the stuff came out, it was in the early days, and that was a trying time where we lost our father to COVID. And then once we felt like we settled down and helped my mom transition from where she was living to closer to us, then I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. So that was about a couple of years ago. And navigating through that, it was stage 2. And so I had to go through radiation, went through chemotherapy, and went through multiple surgeries. And still to this day, they won't tell me that I'm cancer free, but I'm choosing to live as if I am. I'm doing really, really well, and I'm getting healthier by the day. But I have to wait a while before they say I could ring that bell. So that bell it's the bell that people ring when their treatment is done in chemotherapy, but for some reason they won't let me ring my bell. So that's something that I'm looking forward to in hopefully 5 years, as long as I continue to stay healthy and the tumors and the cancer doesn't return. So I share with you all of that information, very personal, honestly, and I'm not sure if I really should share it, but I share all that with you because the big question I've been asking is it working? Right? Why am I still here today with a smile on my face, trying to do the best I can with the life that I have to live, wanting to contribute to make the world a better place for not only you and the world, but for my family? Why? And I think it's because I've learned quite a few things in these different seasons of change. And really, that's where all my IP, the frameworks, the processes come from. It comes from my own personal life and how I learned to navigate it, and how I learned reading all these books behind me to kind of develop simple frameworks and simple processes and guiding principles to not only help myself navigate change, but help others navigate change. And so this is what the YouTube channel is going to be. And so I just wanted to give you just a quick kind of introduction and a start to this. I am doing a challenge on Instagram where I'm working and committed to posting 1-minute video a day for 365 days, all through 2025. And so I'm going to be doing that. But I felt like I can make it a little bit more formal and share on this YouTube channel and see where it goes. I'm going to share with you some of my favorite books, some of the guiding principles that guide my life, some of my practices, my journaling, how I use Notion, all of that. I just felt like I could actually feel pretty good and confident to be able to share what I've learned, because all those things has really helped me to actually have a life right now, which I would consider wonderful and flourishing. So I went through hell and back multiple times, but yet I'm still standing here with a smile on my face, with a heart full of gratitude, and a mindset of just this incredible hope for the future. And so I hope you will subscribe and follow along on this journey. Again, there's no Patreon, there's no merch, there's none of that stuff. I just stopped moving in that direction. I just thought, hey, I'm an artist, I'm a creative, and so why don't I just create works of art in a sense, create these kind of content and videos and whatever I create, and just be generous with it, because it's so much more fun when it doesn't become some sort of a business, right? So I hope this finds you well. I'm going to be timestamping every one of these videos. Today's January 12th, 2025, and I'm excited to get started on this journey. And so I hope you will join me as we work as mavericks, as misfits, as those that don't kind of fit in this world too well, to answer the call to create a beautiful future, a better future, by learning to live and lead the beautiful life today together. All right. Anywho, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.